of the age or appearance. In our last episode, we mentioned that a rapist is usually a known person and not a stranger. It can be brothers, uncle, father, friend, imam, pastor, family friend, worker, or your neighbor. Yes, the same the enablers of rape. Initiative of St. Ives Communications in partnership with Voice of Women and supported by the MacArthur Foundation. My name is Esther Alaribe. We spoke to women in your community on how we can together disable the enablers of rape. Listen to what the women have to say.
Ọ̀nà kan tí a lè gbà láti fi dá ìfipábánilòpọ̀ dúró ni pé kíjọba máa fi ẹ̀san kan àwọn tó bá fipá báni lòpọ̀ ní ọ̀nà tó tọ́ àtọ̀nà tó yẹ.
There you have it from the women in your community. So this is what she thinks. A survivor of sexual abuse and rape is never at fault, never. Survivors react to sexual violence in different ways, and this may impact their daily function. Some feel guilt, shame, self blame, fear, sadness, isolation. Oh, just what if I hadn't? Oh, just what if I had stayed there? If only I did not wear that. But trust me, it is never your fault. Some suffer nightmares, flashback, depression. They have difficulty concentrating, anger, confusion, low self esteem, anxiety, name it. There is a whole lot that they actually go through. For you and I, we must remember that the perpetrator must be blamed and not the survivor. Our role together as a community is to condemn the perpetrator and make it difficult for a perpetrator to escape or to exonerate them from this crime that they have committed. On today's episode, we'll look at disabling the enablers of rape. My guest for today is Oyedotun Omotola, program facilitator at Precious Rubies Empowerment Initiative. Hi, Oyedotun. How are you doing today? Thank you for joining us. Hi, joining us this evening. Oh, can you?
For having me here.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us. Yes.
Very audible.
How are you doing today? Can you hear me?
Very well.
Okay, great. So we're talking
Yes, I
about.
can.
Okay, that's
Very
good.
clearly.
Thank you very much. Enablers of rape in different ways in our community. Some comment unintentional, some action unintentional as well, but for some people might be intentional. We have continually allowed for perpetrators of sexual violence, rape against women and girls to continue to get away with it. Now, my question to you this evening: what are the guiding principles on providing safe and ethical care for survivors of sexual and gender based violence?
Thank you very much for that very important question. My view about it, there are lots of questions. One which I consider very, very important is confidentiality. Ensuring privacy of survivor and their information to protect them from further harms and stigma. We must learn how to be confidential about whatever we have listened to, their story, how they have come this far, what really happened, transpire, which is very, very important. We must know how to conceal their information that they have shared to us. It is not in any of our custody to share this information, because it really matters to them. It's as these stories has led to them bleeding emotionally. So we have to be very confidential about it. Another one I see about it is informed consent. Obtaining explicit permission from the survivor before providing any care, any form of care or treatment to them. You don't just have to make them let them be involved. Ask of their consent. Please, I want to go about this. What do you think about this? Okay, in bringing justice to the perpetrator, these are the ways, these are our guidelines, these are what we want to do. Let them give you the go ahead before you do anything, before you enter any kind of rep or care or any treatment. Let them understand their rights and options. Let them know that they have the right to stop. Let them know that, let them hear from them, carry them along. Another one that I see to it is non-discrimination. Providing care without bias. We should not be biased. Discrimination bias based on gender, age, ethnicity, religion, sexual orientations, or any form of factors. This is very, very important. Just because the other party is not in the same religion or faith does not mean that you should push them into exactly believing in your own faith. Oh, this is how it is done in my do it for you. No, you should not force it. Don't be biased. Don't prefer. Don't have preference. Oh, because not only we talking about gender-based violence, I believe that both male and female are being molested. So don't be biased. Another point that I see very important is empowerment, which is very, very important.
Okay.
Supporting survivors to make their own decisions and regain control. This will make them to be more resilient. When you empower them, skills acquisition, some of them to go back to school, providing them with information, resources, and support that they need. Safety, which is very, very vital. Creating a safe environment for survivor, doing an aftercare, including physical safety, funds further, emotional support. This is very important because some of these perpetrators, we never can tell. We cannot underestimate them, what they can do, what they can be up to. So they first create a safe environment for this survivor.
Okay.
I to say some of these perpetrators, they might even want to hunt them down, monitor them where they go to. They can a kind of environment will be better. It depends on how severe the case is.
Okay.
But a safe environment is very, very important. Respecting their decisions, like I said earlier on,
Survivors and all, some of you've also mentioned it, guidelines, or the person is unaware of their right in the things that you can push for on that this is what we are supposed to be doing you if you want to get justice and follow up with this case. So how do you get them to understand that this is what we ought to do?
that let them know this is the right thing to do. If we don't stop them, not only for your own sake, but for other people's sake as well in the society. Oh, you decide not to do something, you decide to be quiet about the whole situation. But it is not, the cycle will definitely continue. So if you yourself don't take a prompt action on that, the perpetrator will continue. They will continue to revolve around their evil doings. You will not make them to understand that. Okay, I understand your fear, your concern, but this let them understand. Sit them down. Let them understand their rights. This is your right. This is the rightful thing to do. And the other case, okay, you give them instance, even what the perpetrator might be up to, give them solution to it. Okay, assuming this perpetrator is going this way, he might decide to do this thing. This is what we are going to do. Provide solution, even for the unseen trouble or the unanswered question that they might have.
Okay.
Provide answer for them.
All right. Thank you very much for to be just so you're able to carry them along in everything. All right. Thank you very much. Unmasking the Truth on your radio station today is Disabling the Enablers of Rape. This program is an initiative of St. Ives Communications in partnership with Voice of Women and supported by the MacArthur Foundation. Safer environment can reduce the risk for abuse. Data shows that more than 80% of sexual abuse cases occur in isolated and on one-on-one situation. Now we want to go back to the street and get more comment from more women.
If we want to stop people where they we gas they show all these rapists extra shiggy. That is shiggy romance. So if other people see say the government, Nigerian government, no they support rapists, then go respect themselves too. You understand? Them too no go they support rapists. Well done.
So, what this is, as much as possible, we want to shame and name the perpetrators of this different act. Now, coming to you, how can we ensure that we keep open communications with children, letting them know about sex education, boundaries? Because definitely this is going to help prevent sexual abuse. Some parents still struggle with knowing what to tell what child at what age, what age appropriate information would be. What you tell a 13-year-old child is not the same kind of information you give to a 5-year-old child. But they are all vulnerable to these different abuses in our community. But you need to be able to tell them what is age appropriate. So, how do you advise that one goes about this? Hello, are you there? Omotola, can you hear me? Omotola, can you hear me? Oh, we'll try to reconnect with Omotola in a bit. Seems he's having some kind of technical challenge. I'm unable to hear you, Omotola. Oh, please don't mute your mic. Oh, we'll try to reconnect with Omotola in a bit. Yeah, so we're talking about open communication with children, talking about sex education, teaching them boundaries. I know that in some schools they get to make children sing certain songs that tells the child, "Oh, do not allow anybody to touch this part of your body. Do not allow anybody to touch you." Um, this is, I mean, for some schools who have been able to just stay uptight and they're able to just let their children know. For some parents at home, I feel like a lot of parents struggle with letting their children know. And I just right information. The child is going to learn from outside, from school, from friends, and the child would definitely get all of the wrong information. And it is just somehow they're going to see you in some kind of light that puts you away from them. And when they know about these things, you don't want to be in that position whereby you see your child carrying out all things and you cannot even caution them because in the first place, you didn't have that conversation with them. You were not there to let them know what excites that some parents are unable to talk to their children about it. The schools are doing amazing, but schools cannot do everything. They cannot. The parents also have to be able to keep up with the different information and trends ongoing as it is right now. So you're probably going to say, "Oh, I've been able to raise my child. I've been able to tell my child in that class whose parents something and you want to play it out." And then there is your child, your innocent child who knows nothing wondering how with my neighbor. Oh, yes, your child can actually stay with your neighbor, but what level of information have you armed your child with to let your child know that if for any reason this person tries to harass you, to touch you, you know to scream? How well have you done? Ship her children, and I intentionally use the word ship. They intentionally use ship her children off to the grandmas, and just anybody can be responsible for them. But just I still had to share. My mouth could not just stay one place. I still had to, and I was like, you do realize that sending your children off there and speak to some survivors of sexual and gender-based violence, it happens in areas whereby just everybody and everyone has access to the children, and these children not knowing who is who. Besides, you have like very people that you trust to an extent carrying out this criminal act on the children in your custody, children around you, your words that they are safe. Omotola, can you hear me? Omotola, are you there? Oh, so I think Omotola is still having issues. Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm with you. Thank
Okay.
you.
So I was just talking about open conversations, open communication with children on sex education, teaching them about boundaries and how this can help prevent sexual abuse.
Yes. Yeah, it matters and awareness matters a lot. Open communication helps children understand what constitutes sexual abuse and recognize warning signs, enabling them to disclose experience of abuse causing sensitive topics with adults. They are more likely to disclose instances of sexual abuse
Hmm.
and seek help and respecting others' boundaries, promote healthy relationship, and help them to recognize and respond to boundaries violations as well. When you tell them, like my niece, little ones have some they don't need private parts. There's a song like that they sing always. whenever I see them here, I know I like the parents and the fact that the in schools right now are exhibiting and introducing this kind of thing to them, so that they will know that this place is this part of their body.
Teaching children how to say no, really, that's another thing. Because, I mean, when you're going to be giving them all of this information, you know to let them know that at every point in time, there are places in your body that nobody should touch you. Raise an alarm if anything. I was talking about the songs that they get to teach abuses, and also being able to shame the perpetrators of this different crime against women and girls in our society. Let's hear what.
Èmi máa kọ́kọ́ sọ pé ẹnikẹ́ni tí ó bá ti jẹ́ pé wọ́n fipá bá lò pa mọ́ra rárá because ìwà ìfipábánilòpọ̀ kò ń ṣe nǹkan téèyàn lè máa fipá mọ́ra. So ẹnikẹ́ni tó bá jẹ́ pé ó ti fall victim rí, kó try láti sọ̀rọ̀ síta ká lè mọ ibi tá a ti máa help ẹ̀, because kíní ìgbà míì ó máa ń fa mental issues tó jẹ́ pé ẹlòmíì ó máa wà depressed and everything. So ẹni tó bá jẹ́ pé ó ti fall victim rí, kó try láti sọ̀rọ̀ so that àwọn èèyàn láyìíká ẹ̀ wọ́n á lè help ẹ̀.
Of course, we do know that the aftermath of these different abuses, like I have to look at people that I know. There's some people, survivors. You can tell that this different things that it presents them an ace on the perpetrator, and that's why we must come together as a community. Ensure that you are shaming the perpetrator. There's nothing like bro code. There's nothing like you're trying to cover for anybody for what crime they have committed. If you know that somebody has committed a crime and you're trying, just so you know that you're an accomplice as well. And when the law comes for that person, you too will be calling off someone. Really, there's so much that we need to do as guardians. There's so much we need to do. Neighbors as well, looking out for the children in your neighborhood. There's so much that we need to do as well. Omotola, so how can we work together to disable these enablers of rape and violence against women and girls? Because the people who would never allow people tell their stories without shutting them down and ask. We've seen it play out so many times. Hello, Omotola, are you there? Also, see, Omotola is having network challenges. I mean, the network.
Together
Okay,
to address this,
okay, you're back on.
enablers.
Okay.
About the harmful impact of enabling behaviors. So we won't stop saying it. We should encourage people to speak more often, intervene when they witness behaviors or attitude that can contribute to rape culture. Women out.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, really. Because, I mean, we cannot overemphasize the need for able to speak their truth. When these issues, when they arise and somebody has something to say, let's just hear them out. If they're going to be further investigations done before we get to hand over to law enforcement agencies, yes, let's do it. But of course, with all of the guidelines that you've mentioned,
we should keep surviving. We should keep supporting the survivors.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Them as much as we can.
Support them. They will not be willing to tell their stories.
Encourage them.
Definitely, definitely, Omotola. Thank you very, very much. Thank you for being on the program with me this evening. Thank you. Do have a wonderful evening. Talk about it with the survivors, lending your voice, supporting them as it reduces the stigma. Have age-appropriate open conversations with children about their body parts. This is just information out there, and you can just put in a little bit of, find out what is tailored to your needs, your children, where you live, and just know how to address these issues. There's help everywhere if you choose to speak out, and that's just always going to be drawing strength from what you're going to be saying. Unmasking the Truth is an initiative of St. Ives Community. Approach them to speak up, report any suspicion, victimize them, or make them feel uncomfortable. But what you would do is to believe them, listen to them, support them in every way that you can, educate them, let them know where you can take them to, where they can seek help, where they can get justice. That is what you ought to help them do. You need to help children understand the signs of grooming. A lot of young people these days do not understand when they are being groomed. But when they understand what grooming is. Yes, you see that uncle that wants to buy you nice, always want to tell you how beautiful you look and everything. Yeah, some of those things are actually grooming and you don't know. Yes, you'd actually be shocked that maybe 2 years to come or years later, you're like, oh, so that was grooming right there. Yes, you probably didn't know. So encourage children to assert their boundaries, empower them to say no to anything that makes them uncomfortable. Let them trust you enough to be able to come to you at every point in time. Now, if you have a story on how corruption and lack of accountability affects women in your community that you'd like us to talk about, patient in partnership with Voice of Women and supported by the MacArthur Foundation. Thanks to the production team of Nafisat Abdulaziz, Taiwo Adeleye, Amanda Meneke, and executive producer Tom Okewale Shonaya. My name is Esther Alaribe. Good evening.
A time for change, to unmask the truth, to unmask the rot in our communities. Unmasking the Truth will focus on the effects of on women, prefer solution, and demand for accountability. Unmasking the Truth will be on this radio station
every first Monday by 5:30 p.m.
And we ask you to join us to condemn corruption, to demand for accountability, and to work together for a better Nigeria. Unmasking the Truth is an initiative of St. Ives Communications in partnership with Voice of Women and MacArthur Foundation.